Good morning everybody and welcome to this Smart Charts European session. Hope you're all well and ready for another fantastic week in trading the financial markets. We are expecting things to really kick off this week because last week we were dealing with end of month flows, beginning of a new month, people dipping their toes into the water, seeing what's going on in the market. We've had a lot of trend reversals that developed last week on the dollar pairs. So we're expecting things to pick up with the high impact news announcements this week and over the next few weeks to really see out the next quarter. So make sure you guys are fully prepared in capitalizing on all the opportunities presenting to you. I'll do my very best to update you in these webinars, but make sure you're tuning it into all the live daily trading webinars so you can interact with the live traders and also identify and participate in different trading opportunities, learn more in the market, build more confidence, and just get a bit closer to where you want to be in your trading goals. So now let's dive in and see what's coming up in the week ahead. Okay, so on Monday it's pretty quiet from an economic data perspective. Things really start to kick off from Tuesday with the Reserve Bank of Australia monetary policy meeting minutes. This is released 8 times a year and usually a few weeks after the cash rate interest rate decision. So it is a bit of a medium impact news announcement because we've already had the interest rate decision from the Reserve Bank of Australia a few weeks ago when they kept rates on hold. But it will be interesting to see what they believe is happening in the economy and where the future direction may lie in interest rate policy and when there will be more cuts or if they're going to keep it on hold. So we'll keep an eye on it for any surprises in language from the central bank and any movements in the Australian dollar. But in this instance, we know the Reserve Bank of Australia have kept interest rates on hold. It's why we've had a lot of strength in the Australian dollar. A lot of commodity currencies have been performing well. If you're not too sure what a commodity currency is, it's just basically a currency where the country makes most of its income from export of commodities. So you have things like Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar, Norwegian krona, and there's a few others as well. So in this instance, the Aussie has been really strong because most of the central banks have been cutting interest rates and some a lot bigger than the market has been expecting. So we'll see if there's still going to be a bid kept in Aussie as the week unfolds. And we'll head over into Smart Charts later on to see what's going on in the market, see if there's anything there regarding the Australian dollar. Now things really kick off on Wednesday with the Reserve Bank of New Zealand interest rate statement, and it is widely expected the central bank will be cutting interest rates from 5.25% to 4.75%. So much bigger interest rate cut than many other central banks. And this is why actually the reversals that we've been seeing in the US dollar that we've been trading over the past several weeks, it's actually why the vol reversal on the Kiwi US we had actually performed really well with a really high reward to risk, because we had all the things going on with the US dollar that we've been speaking about over the past several weeks with the reversals that we were trading, and then we also had this expected interest rate cut on Kiwi, and we had a really good combination then of Kiwi weakness and a bit of dollar strength, which is why that actually had the biggest move in the market. So again, when we get that technical and fundamental narrative lining up, is what results in more higher reward to risk trading opportunities. Now again, why do we look at these key economic announcements? Well, we're mainly looking for surprises, okay? Most things are already priced in. We know this from your day one work in your trader certification program and how the market works. So in this instance, we know everything's priced in. So we look for surprises, okay? If there's any major surprises, that's what can cause really big movements, and sometimes that movement is tradable and is actually very high probability. So we'll keep an eye on those things. We also look at news announcements, so we can also manage risk, so making sure you don't have too many positions on a certain currency as you're approaching a high impact news announcement where things can get a bit volatile. So again, risk management becomes very important. And of course, as I've just highlighted, when we get that technical and fundamental narrative lining up, then that can lead to higher reward to risk trading opportunities. But the understanding of actually how the market works, of course, is crucial to be able to have the confidence in actually what you're trading. So that work we do on your day one of your trader certification program and learn Forex is such a game changer in helping people's mindset to get the confidence required to trade the financial markets and trust what the market is actually telling them to do. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on any opportunities around the Kiwi this week. I'll do my very best to update you in these webinars, but make sure you're tuning into those live trading webinars every single day as well. We also have the FOMC meeting minutes reports from the US Federal Reserve. Now, again, there's no press conference here. It's just a release of the latest meeting minutes from the central bank. Now, we already know how the market is priced in regarding what the Federal Reserve is doing. We know the Federal Reserve several weeks ago had a much bigger than expected interest rate cut than everyone was expecting. It's the first one since the COVID pandemic. And this is why we've been trading a lot of US dollar trends and reversals over the past several weeks. Now, the key here is that we already know that the Federal Reserve had been looking at the employment data to decide future interest rate policy. We know last week we had employment data being released every single day from the US, and it was all positive, which is what led to a further rally in the US dollar. Great opportunities there for you fast time frame traders last week. There may not be any surprises from this meeting minutes report, but again, we'll keep an eye on the flows of the market. If there are any surprises, it can cause some really good movements, and we may be able to trade those movements. So we'll keep an eye on these things as the week unfolds as well. And then on Thursday, we have the consumer price inflation report in the US. So inflation is just a measurement of the change in the price of goods and services in the economy. It does become important because it's a metric that the central banks use to determine interest rate policy. And basically, when inflation is rising, then central banks tend to increase interest rates to get people to spend less in the economy, just to bring prices down. And when inflation is falling, then central banks tend to cut interest rates to get people to actually spend a bit more in the economy and get it picking up again. So it's a fine balancing act. So this will be interesting to see if there's any major surprises between what the market is expecting, which could cause some changes in the expectations of the Federal Reserve and their next interest rate cut. So again, that's going to be a high impact news announcement and one to keep an eye on. And on Friday, we've got the UK GDP data. Gross domestic product measures basically all the income a country is making. And of course, in the UK, that does become a little bit more important as we get closer to the budget announcement on the 30th of October, just how the economy is doing. And of course, any new policies from new Labour government regarding investment and tax and things like this could have a big impact. But it's a bit further out, okay? We're at the beginning of the month of October, so we'll keep an eye on any flows of the British pound when we get closer to the news announcement at the end of the month. And we also have the Canadian employment reports as well. And a lot of central banks right now are looking at these really important economic data like employment, because it shows them the health of the economy, health of the consumer, what's going on, and that will help them determine interest rate policy for the future. So we'll keep an eye on any clues on any changes in central bank expectations. But the key here is we're not trying to guess what the news announcement is going to be. We're not trying to predict what it's going to be. What we were looking for are any surprises from what the market is expecting, which can lead to some really big moves, and sometimes we can trade those moves and they're very high probability, so we keep an eye on those. Or we're looking for confirmation that actually, the market believes this economy is good, the announcements are saying the economy is good, and that can just give you more confidence in trading the trend on why everyone is actually building positions in that particular currency. So lots to focus on over the week ahead, and I'll do my best to update you with all the latest market news announcements and potential trading opportunities through these different webinars. For now, let's dive into smart charts. Let's see what's been going on. Okay, so first of all, if we look at the tools tab here, something that we can actually see overnight, we've got some really good flows there in the US dollar, again sitting with the theme that we have been trading over the past several weeks, so we'll look for some maybe continuations there. But we are coming some higher impact news announcements with the US dollar sort of Wednesday, Thursday, so we might see some profit taking on those reversals. So we'll be keeping an eye on a change in direction in the US dollar to what we have already been trading over the past several weeks, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on. And we can see some of the other currency pairs a little bit weaker, but we can still see generally that the Australian dollar is the strongest currency pair out of the weakest ones. We have obviously the British pound as well, one of the strongest ones out of the weakest currency pairs. Obviously Kiwi here, relatively weak, most likely because we have the RBNZ, Reserve Bank of New Zealand interest rate statement coming up midweek. So we'll keep an eye on these flows and see if we can get some maybe trend continuations developing on these currency pairs we just highlighted. And certainly for you fast time frame traders becomes very important as well. Now, in terms of a few trading opportunities that have been highlighted for the London and Sydney trading floors, let's have a look. So something that's been highlighted here on Australian dollar against the US dollar on the 180 phase changer strategy on your daily charts. Now, the 180 phase changer strategy, one of my favorite strategies. So when you're on the trader certification program, we spend a lot of time on this one because it's a great one to be able to identify momentum based trading opportunities that develop in the market. And what we have here, on top of what Smart Charts is actually finding for us, there's a couple of things going on here. So first of all, we like the fact that we're in this moving average zone, okay? And we can see historically in the past, it is an area where buyers have actually turned up before, okay? So, we like that confluence that, okay, buyers have been turning up here on this moving average zone before. We know there's a high probability chance they could potentially turn up here again. On top of this, what do we actually have? We can see that price has actually broken through all these different high points here. So we had this turning point here, we had this turning point here. What's happened? Price has broken through that. So it'll be interesting to see if we get this resistance, support, switchover. Sometimes what can be resistance, price can break through, can then sometimes act as support. So we'll keep an eye on this as well. We're starting to build a picture of confluence of support areas. Now, when it comes to trend lines, you can see here, we've had these, what we call really short-term momentum cycles developing here. But then within these momentum cycles, sometimes you get these longer-term trends that are developing as well, okay? So on the trader certification program, we know we go through this. There's multiple types of trends that develop in the market. And of course, you've got a few different strategies to get you into different types of trends, momentum trends, long-term trends, short-term trends, okay? So that becomes very important to make sure you're able to participate in the different types of situations the market actually presents to you. So what we actually have here is we've broken the sort of short-term trend here because we had those big reversals in the US dollar, but we have started to approach some longer term price levels which could start to attract some of the longer term players in the market with this longer term trend line, okay? So this will be quite interesting to see if we get these longer term players who've been driving this market higher actually turning up here to keep driving it higher, and then maybe we get some short-term momentum cycles in this move as well, and then you'll embark upon scaling in strategies from master trader and scale into a long-term trend like we have already been doing. All right, so it really starts off with the daily move, and once we're in that daily move, then we can really ramp up our trading and scale in and capitalize on that move. Okay, so on top of identifying the trading opportunity and on top of the confluence that we can see for ourselves, and really what you want to be doing is using the power of algorithmic technology, AI technology, along with a bit of human pattern insight and recognition. It's the combination of those things which are very, very powerful. The Smart Charts will also help you do the risk management work. If you press the buy icon here, it will populate an entry price at the blue dot, stop loss at the red dot, target the green dot, which can all be adjusted according to your own user preferences. It will also do the risk management work as well. Really important to keep that risk low. Make sure you're able to deal the random distributions of wins and losses that develop throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. And then we like to set expiry. So for me, I like to set a current bar close expiry and then decline or accept the trade. And what that means is if buyers simply don't turn up to continue the move, your pending trade will expire. Because as speculators in the market, we're looking for momentum, okay? And sometimes buyers don't turn up and the trend changes, or it just lacks a bit of volatility, goes a bit sideways, okay? So the key for us is that no one can predict the future. What we need to do is be prepared. You've got to make sure you are prepared to capitalize on the trading opportunities that are developing in the market. That preparation is key. And in your trader certification program, pay attention to the trading plans that we build, because the trading plans give us the focus, give us the systems, the routines, the processes to be prepared to identify trading opportunities in a seamless manner week in, week out. And it's that shift in focus from trying to trade to actually following a plan, and the plan will help you to just seamlessly understand what's going on in the market, right? So make sure you're utilizing all the resources you have available to you inside of smart charts. There's some things going on as well on the twin flip strategy on the daily chart that has been highlighted. So if we look at this twin flip strategy on the daily chart, and we have pound against the Canadian dollar here, so something that you can see on this left hand chart, on top of what smart charts is finding, okay, and again, if you're not too familiar with how smart charts is helping you to really trade the financial market successfully, consistently, objectively, then of course make sure you're attending your trader certification program, make sure you're attending all the workshops, all the boot camps, courses, events, coaching sessions, the e-learning materials inside of smart charts to help you understand how it is helping you. But what we can see here is that we've been trading this for quite a while actually. Why? Because look, price got above the moving average zone, and what happened? We started to bounce off it. Look, buyers turned up here, and then buyers turned up here, and then buyers turned up here. So what are we looking for? We're now looking for clues if buyers are going to turn up here again, okay? So in this instance, we have some really good clues here that buyers have been turning up in this moving average zone. So of course, we're going to be looking for clues to see if buyers are actually going to turn up here again. We can also see that price has actually broken outside a range that had developed here, and we're now just sitting on this area of resistance support. So we're interested to see if we get a bit of a turning point here as well. So we have a bit of a confluence of support areas developing here. Now there is a chance it might come a little bit lower because we do have some longer term price levels like a trend line. So we are in a bit of a zone here, okay? So we'll keep an eye out on the zone and see where price could potentially turn. But right now we can only deal with the information we have in front of us, okay? And we're on this support line, we're in this moving average zone, we've got that nice higher high cycle, giving us evidence that buyers have been willing to buy this market at a low price, they've been willing to keep buying above a high price, so maybe there's more buyers around who are willing to keep on driving this market higher. So on top of highlighting the potential trading opportunity for you, smart charts will also help you with the risk management work by clicking the buy icon, populating an entry price at the blue dot, stop loss at the red dot, target at the green dot, which can all be adjusted according to your own user preferences. We'll do the risk management calculations for you as well, really important. Make sure you're keeping that risk low and make sure you're able to deal with the random distributions of wins and losses that develop throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. And you would like to set an expiry again of the current bar close here and simply decline or accept the trade, okay? Now there are plenty of other trading opportunities developing. These were just some of the higher time frame trading opportunities. Plenty of things going on your lower time frames, your 4 hour, your 1 hour, your 30-minute, your 15-minute chart, 5-minute chart setups as well. So make sure you're tuning in to the live trading webinars happening today to capitalize on those intraday fast time frame trading opportunities. But for now, that's it from me. All the best for your trading. I'll see you next time.